Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, it began like this. Welcome back everyone, I'm K Plays Games, this is EVE Online, and welcome back to our stupidly insane self-sufficiency challenge, in which we're not allowed to use the market. We have to make or find everything ourselves. In the previous episode, we finally did it. We went on an insane grind, and it was absolutely horrible. Did not enjoy it. We did, however, get 8 combat sites in a row where no one else disturbed us, so that was wonderful. So that gave us lots of bounty and loot. And then we found a commander who was worth like 75,000, so that helped. And that did give us the money to buy a Mollusk blueprint, and overnight I have indeed made the Mollusk. So let's have a look at this thing. So we are now finally ready to up ship from this rookie corvette to an actual ship, an actual frigate. We have built a ship before, but that was only a shuttle for moving our blueprints around. So let's have a look at our frigate. Here it is. What a lovely looking thing. Fitting wise, of course, it's empty. We haven't fitted anything to it yet. Even unfitted, it does have double the armor hit points of the Corvette, and it's a lot faster. So we do have an ideal fit for this. This is what it looks like. Targeting goes all the way out to 71 kilometers. The drone control range is 75 kilometers because we've got skills, and we fitted 3 of these drone control range augmenters, and we've got 150mm railguns on it, and a tracking computer with an optimal range script, so this thing can hit all the way out to 31 kilometers, which is wonderful. But it's also got lots of things on it which we don't have the blueprints for, like this tracking computer, or the 150mm railguns, or the rigs, or the micro auxiliary power core, or the drone damage control. So this is all we can fit on this ship of our ideal fit. So we will not be fitting it like this. We will be fitting it like this. Because I was having a look around in our inventory and seeing what we have, and I remembered we had this compact magnetic field stabilizer which increases the damage of our guns, and we've got webifiers. So I think we're going to fit it like this, which is 2 125mm railguns, which is the same as we're using now, so they'll work exactly the same as they will on our Corvette. A 1 meganewton enduring afterburner, which pushes our speed up to 948 meters a second. 2 cap recharger 1s, a cap power relay 1, an enduring armor repairer, the magnetic field stabilizer to increase the damage from the guns, and a webifier, because we know that lots of enemies are blaster fit. Even though this fit is quite long range and it moves fast, the enemies will still be able to catch up with us, and when they get into an orbit around the Corvette, it struggles to hit them with its guns. But this gives us the ability to slow down anything that comes within 10 kilometers by 55%. So then we do a keep it range, say 8.5, 9 kilometers on it, so they'll be slowed down. We'll line ourselves up, and then our guns, which have an optimal range of round about the same, we won't be able to hit much better. It has a 30 cubic meter drone bay. At the moment, we can only use 3 drones at any one time, so we'll just put 3 hobgoblins and 3 hornets in this. And the DPS goes up to 47.3. Our current fit does 39.1. So this is 21% more DPS than our current Corvette fit. It's 32% faster in speed. So that will cut down the time it takes us to approach to get into targeting range. Not that targeting range is an issue. We target out to 71. So we'll be able to target lock things straight away, but our drone control range is only 30 and our guns are only 14. So we're still going to have to get in range. So being 32% faster means we'll be able to get into range that much faster, which will speed up our run times of the belts and the combat sites we do. The one downside is that it doesn't repair quite as much, because the Corvette gets a 15% bonus to its armor repair amount. So this is repairing 15% less. I mean, 15% sounds bad until you realise that it's 13.9 hit points a second instead of 15.9. So we're only losing 2 hit points a second of repair. And that's fine, because this thing has 402 armor hit points, which is literally double that of the Corvette. So even though it's repairing 2 hit points a second less, it does have double the armor, so it can afford to do that, and it has more DPS, so it will be knocking down the incoming damage a lot quicker. So this is the fit we're going to go with. So let's get this fitted up. We'll go outside and make some money. The money we need is 75,000 ISK right away for jury rigging. because we need this to be at level 3. We need this to be at level 3 so we can do drones rigging level 1. And we need drones rigging level 1 so we can build the small drone control range augmenter 1, which will increase our drone control range by 15 kilometers per each one of these we fit. And of course, we're just going to build 3 of them straight away. We have all the salvage. We know that. We've been salvaging all the combat sites we've done. We've got more than enough salvage to build all 3 of these. But it will take us 21 hours and 29 minutes to train jury rigging 1, 2 and 3, and another 50 minutes to get drone rigging 1. So we're looking at an entire day of training. So we're not going to have this today. So we're going to need 75,000 for that, 125,000 for that, 250 for that. So that's around 400,000. So we're going to need that. And one other thing we could do on this fit is actually use some of our antimatter. That pushes our damage up to 54 DPS, which is a lot for us. And the fall-off range is still 10 kilometers. So if anything gets really close, I might consider changing over to antimatter. So we might at some point buy the antimatter charge S blueprint. That's only another 100,000. Love how blasé I'm being now. It's just, it's only 100 grand, who cares? So I'm going to fit this. And then we'll go out and we'll probably go to, where are we going to go? Yeah, Duanis and Bala, the 0.6 and 0.5 systems. We'll hit any burrows and drone collections and drone clusters and hideaways we see. I'm not going to do refuges at the moment, even though this thing is faster and it's got a rep and a web. I will only feel comfortable doing refuges once we get our drone control range up, so we can just fly away, or indeed warp to the refuges at like 50 kilometers and then send the drones out straight away. That is the only reason I would ever consider doing a refuge. Right, ship fitted. Let's get out of here. Okay, let's organise the drones. Let's put these ones into little kinetic and these ones into little therm. Now we have multiple drone folders. Let's rearrange all this stuff so it's all in the right order. We'll just group the guns. I did overnight build 5,000 thorium charge small, so all we have is thorium. But that's fine, we're more than fast enough. Oh, there's a hideaway in this system, let's go for it.
Drive active.
Let's try this out in a hideaway and hope that no one else is here. There's only 4 people in the system, including me. It's just wonderful. Right, well this is a good start to the day. Let's get in here. Oh, being able to target things from this far away is awesome. Right, let's get in. And we need the kinetic drones, and we do indeed have drones level 3. So we now have 3 drones. We're close to doing drones level 4, but as soon as we get enough money, we're going to be changing over to doing jury rigging, because that's far, far more important. Our fall-off range should be 12, good, and 8. Orbit should be 8, good. I don't really need to expend any ammunition, because the drones will be able to kill everything on their own. Right, we'll just shoot this guy, web it. Yeah, see the difference that makes? We got a penetrate. Then a penetrate, and then it's dead. That's the difference that a web makes. Slows them down, makes them far easier to hit. Let's web this guy, and then shoot him. Oh, I missed that time. A hit. A graze, that's annoying. A miss. Well, we are moving really quick. And now he's out of web range. Well, alright, 1 hideaway done, and we're still on 88% shield, so let's just save location on one of these, because we'll come back and salvage this and loot it, and we'll
drive active.
Actually go to Bala. Which the good thing about this ship is that it has a lot more shield hit points than the Corvette did as well, so it's going to take the enemy longer to get through to the armour, and that does mean that the passive shield recharge is going to be slightly more, 1 hit point a second, because we're an armour fit. But it does mean we've got all this lovely 315 shield for the enemy to chew on before they even hit the 402 armor. First test run, easy peasy. We're here in Duanis, no more combat sites on the way, so let's have a look in the belts. Ah, some bad guys at last. We can target them all from exactly where we are, spit out the kinetic drones, turn everything on, and we'll just go. We'll just charge them. Drone control range is 30, so as soon as we get to 30 we'll just send the drones out. There they go, lovely. We'll keep the watchmen at 12. And open fire. We'll just web it as well, just to slow it down. Refuge just popped up on scan. Not doing that. I am not crazy. So let's keep the next guy at range as well. See if we can't web him. Web it. Rail it. Get up to speed. Slowing the enemy down does help the drones hit it as well, so it's all good so far. So good. This is only going to get better and better. Remember, this is just a cobbled together half fit. As soon as we get 75,000, we're immediately buying that skill book and switching over to jury rigging. First combat test, not a problem. I'm going to ignore that refuge before I am tempted to run it. There's a cargo scanner. So I shall keep running the belts in Duanis and Bala and do a little montage for you guys. And then when we get enough money, we'll get the skills we need, and then we'll talk about where we're going to go and what we're going to do. Okay, that's the end of the asteroid belts in Duanis. I hope it came across how much faster this thing is at clearing these sites. It's just mental. It's excellent. Having the guns being more accurate because of the web makes a huge difference. It really helps the drones apply their damage as well. Having 3 drones is obviously 50% more damage from drones than we had when we only had 2 of them. So yeah, it's going great. Nothing's even got anywhere close. Never even heard the low shield warning because they've got like double the shields we had on the previous ship. One bounty payment has come in. We have 88,000 ISK. So let's buy jury rigging. Ooh, it's on sale for 5,000. No, we can't buy that. It's a player. So we need to scroll down until we see a 365. Yeah, here we go. This is over 90 and it seems to be for sale in the next system, which is where we're going anyway. So let's buy that. Yes, I know it's 500% more expensive than the player ones. And we're back down to 13,000. So let's go to Bala, pick up that skill book, get it training immediately. And the good thing about skills is that even though we're leaving drones 4 half done, the game remembers how much training you've done on it, so we can just pick it up where it left off right now. There is no need to complete a skill, which is nice. Here we are, there's our skill book. Right click, train now to level 1. Boom, done. Switch skill training, yes please. So we can now find that in rigging. Here it is, jury rigging. We're going to need 1 and 2 and 3. Right, that's that done. So that now gives us 21 hours to earn 250,000 ISK to buy the drones rigging book. So let's delete jury rigging from the shopping list because we bought it. It's good the shopping list is now no longer scrolling all the way off the screen, so that's brilliant. I am seriously considering buying the antimatter charge S blueprint as well, but that will come after drones rigging and small drone control range augmenter 1. So let's undock and have a look around Bala. And just like that, quick as a flash, we've done every single asteroid belt in Bala. One other thing I forgot to mention is that this ship has a much larger cargo than our previous ship. The previous one had like 135. This has got 275, so it doesn't have to go home quite as often. And this thing is absolutely ripping through the bad guys. So I'm going to go home first, drop off all this gear, and then we'll have a chat about where to now. Because this thing has just gone through 2 entire systems of asteroid belts in about half an hour. It's incredible. Okay, made it back home, dropped off all the stuff. We had a bounty payment come in, and that allowed us to reprocess all the stuff which was in this, which is our little salvager corvette. And he's just salvaged that little hideaway we did right at the start. Even more salvage. And salvage is one of the reasons I'm thinking about moving home. Where I'm looking at moving is the constellation of Annie in the Minmatar Republic. If we have a look at the related solar systems,
Docking permission
2 of them
requested.
are 0.6 and all the rest are 0.5. And of those 0.5, 3 of them have a lot of asteroid belts. Hioramald has 12, Inder has 16, and Nakugard has 23 asteroid belts. Even all the other ones have like 8, 6, 6, 6 and 3. So they're all worth looking into. And the other reason we're going here is it is Minmatar space, and Minmatar space has different pirates, which will mean slightly different salvage, because we have like a lot of Serpentis and a little bit of drone salvage. Smash trigger unit is one of the things we're going to be looking for. This only comes from Angel Cartel and drones. We found a few drone sites, but not very many. The problem with drones is that drones can produce almost any salvage, so the likelihood of you getting the smash trigger unit is fairly low, because you'll get something else, because they can have all the salvage. The reason we've got giant piles of all this stuff is because this is what is dropped by Serpentis, and we've been... all this stuff down here, which we have basically nothing of, is because it comes primarily from different sources. So I'd quite like to go over there and see if we can't find any Angel Cartel ships to destroy. And the other good reason about Minmatar space is that the Angel Hideaway does not give you any escalated sight. The Angel Refuge does, that escalates to a 5 out of 10 sight, and the Angel Den does as well. So anyone who's running sites out there for escalations will not be running hideaways, so hopefully that means there'll be more hideaways. And another good thing about the Annie constellation is that it's a dead-end constellation. It doesn't lead to anywhere else. You go in via Nakugard, which is this one here, and then you fly around it in a big circle. There's no other way out. You have to exit by Nakugard, and that goes back. Next system over from Nakugard is Heck, and Heck is one of the game's larger trade hubs. So, yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over there and see how many enemies we can find. Now, one thing to note about the Annie constellation, this is a Cosmos constellation. Cosmos are agents in space, and they give you all kinds of weird and wonderful missions. It's an ancient game mechanic. It's not even fully supported anymore. Sometimes if your Cosmos mission breaks, even the games masters just shrug their shoulders and say, nothing to do with us, this is unsupported content. So there may be some strangely named NPCs out there and some strange combat sites that pop up on the scanner, but we won't be going to any of those. We'll just be looking at belts and for angel burrows and angel hideaways. So the first place to go in is Nakugard. It's only 10 jumps away, and EVE Online 10 jumps is like next door. So I'm going to do these 10 jumps and we'll reconvene in Nakugard. Okay, here we are in Minmatar space. It's a little bit rusty out here. The stargates all look different.
Skill training completed.
And we've just completed jury rigging level 1. Right, 1/3 of the way to rigging level 3. So let's have a look in the system. 1 or 2 asteroid belts, lovely.
Warp drive active.
Now, our ammunition, I have brought some antimatter charge S, and we're just going to use it all up till it's gone, then we'll go back to thorium. The only problem is that none of the enemies are going to be dropping hybrid charges. Because they're going to be Angel Cartel, they're going to be dropping projectile weapon charges. So we're going to have to go home if and when we run out of ammo. Okay, here we go. First enemy, a Cyber Impaler. Again, this is a different name than normal. Usually it would be Angel Impaler, but it says Cyber Impaler because it's indeed a Cosmos enemy. But they still pay bounty, they still drop all the same loot that Angels drop. The only difference is they've got a slightly different name. And that is fine by me. Yeah, they fire missiles sometimes as well. So far so good. We're using Hornets. The enemies are weakest against warriors, but I've melted down all the warriors to minerals, so unless we find 3 warriors, we'll be doing Hornets, because Hornets are their second weakest. They're second weakest to kinetic, these guys.
Active.
Probe scanner, ice belt. Let's ignore that. There will be a lot of these 20 people will be in that ice belt mining ice. Ice belts only spawn 6 hours after the last time they were completed, and there's not very many units of ice in them, so there is an absolute feeding frenzy every single time an ice belt spawns.
Warp drive active.
So I'm going to continue going through the 23 belts that are here and see what we can find. The E-War the Angels do is target painting. That makes our ship appear larger on their scopes, so we take more damage and we're easier to hit. But then I don't really care about that. We're not going to take all that much more damage, and indeed we've killed them all already. There we go. That's projectile weapon ammunition, titanium sabo S. This recruitment data center thing I'm not going to take. That is part of the Cosmos missions. That's why all the Cosmos guys here have different names. Because one of the Cosmos agents will task you with investigating all the asteroid belts and finding that item and taking it back. That's why I've left it in the wreck and I've turned the wreck blue. So if anyone who is looking for that comes into this asteroid belt and sees a blue wreck and sees there's cargo in it, they might be very grateful that I abandoned that, because that is the mission item they need. It has no resale value, so I'm not going to take it with me. Just a couple of wrecks. It looks like someone has been here. That is the problem with Cosmos, is that people do tend to run the belts quite a lot. But then I think that also means there's going to be lots more belts and faster spawning enemies. One other good thing about our brand new frigate is that it warps much faster than our corvette did, so getting from site to site is significantly faster. Someone's come through here recently, but that's okay, we're only here on a scouting mission. Now we're finding all kinds of new gear. There's one of the target painters. We can't use it because we don't have target painting level 1. Doesn't break down into all that many things. And it's not as good as a tracking computer or a web for what we are using it for. There's a kinetic shield hardener, which improves the kinetic resistances of your shield by a lot, by 47%. That will also break down into some little parts. So yeah, we're going to be finding lots of new things out here. Alright, that is Nakugarn done. We've done all 23 belts. We found lots of enemies. They were dropping all kinds of weird Cosmos related loot. We got lots of missile and other ammunition, and for some reason we got 7 Angel Bronze tags. Tags are supposed to be really rare. We got 7 of them. So they must be needed for one of the Cosmos missions. I'm pretty sure you can hand these in at data centers to get standings with Minmatar Republic, but we won't be doing that. So I am just going to melt these down because they do provide isogen and oxium, which are rare-ish things in highsec. I have plotted a path through the rest of this constellation. As I said, you come in through Nakugard, it's the only way in or out, then you do a great big loop. And the good thing is that you just go system, 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 and then you end up here back in Nakugard and you can go home. It's a really nice little place. So let's have a look next door in Trown, which only has 8 asteroid belts, but maybe it's going to have some combat sites as well. This ice belt is still up, so I'm assuming that these guys are eating it. No combat sites in Tron. Okay, let's have a look at the asteroid belts.
Warp drive active.
Well, this must be a Cosmos thing. There is a cruiser here called the Degenerate Ferrier, and I have no idea how strong that thing is. It does have a bounty, so I think we'll have a crack at it. Because why not? Again, that'll be part of one of the Cosmos missions. You'll have to find the belt, scan the belts to try and find this thing. But I'm fine with that. It does have a bounty, so we're going to kill it. It's the first cruiser we've fought in this whole run. Until now, the biggest things we've faced have been destroyers. And the good thing about cruisers is that if you can get up close and orbit them really close, they can't hit you. So I'm going to orbit this at 8. Bounty's 12,500, which is lovely. I mean, it's not even yellow boxed us, so God knows what all this is about, but it's dropping like a sack of spuds, and down it goes. Let's have a look in there. I bet that is full of absolute strange Cosmos loot. I was very confused to see a cruiser in a belt. Or a hauler. 50,000 titanium. That's a big score, but it's 500 cubic meters, so we're leaving it there. I mean, metal scraps. 13 of these is, what, 25,000? So, and they take up a 0.1. There's more Cosmos loot. You can find, and I did find in a belt, some Serpentis harvesters, because the Serpentis do have these weird ships that sometimes come into belts, and they don't harvest the rocks, they just carry minerals. And a couple of them had tens of thousands of units of pyrite, but we didn't really need that. In the previous belt, I did find another warp disruption fuel generator, so that's 18,000 pyrite and 30,000 titanium right there, and that doesn't take 500 cubic meters, it takes 50, which is large enough. Alright, Cosmos systems be weird, yo. The only thing I am unsure of is whether or not we will have a chance of getting a commander spawn in these belts. I'm not sure if the renaming of the NPCs and the changing of their loot tables affects the spawn rate of the commanders. The commanders out here will be called Domination. So we see anything called Domination, we kill it. Right, now that Tron's finished, we can move on to the next system, but I've been thinking, I know, that's what that terrible burning smell is. If we have a look at our triple drone link rig fit, the whole idea of this was to run around at like 70 odd kilometers and let the drones just do all the work. But I would quite like to get our guns into play because they do provide a little bit of damage on their own. So we also have, if we look in the skill sheet, Drone Avionics 3 and Drone Avionics 4 available to us, and that will extend the drones out another 10 kilometers to 85. So what if we didn't do 3 of these? What if we only did 1 of these? The drones go down to 45 kilometer control range now, but that's more than enough for what we've been doing. We've never really found, I mean, some enemies in asteroid belts spawn at like 50, but remember we do have another 10 kilometers to add to this from our skills, so that'll go up to 55 anyway. So I'm now thinking, is there something we can do to extend the range of the railguns? So I'll get rid of these rigs here, come down here, go to rigs, hybrid weapon rigs. If we added 2 small hybrid locus coordinators, these increase the optimal range by 15%. But unfortunately, they also increased the amount of power grid that our 150mm guns need by 10%. But that 10% requirement, that 10% drawback, is reduced by the hybrid weapon rigging skill, which you need to build the blueprint. And other things we can do, this is based on a 1 meganewton afterburner and a small armor repairer, normal ones, and we do indeed have a compact afterburner which needs less power grid, and we have a compact armour repairer which also needs less power grid. And the ship is still stable when you load ammunition, so that reduces the power grid we need down to 1.2. So I think if we can add hybrid weapon rigging, we can train that up to 3, which will reduce that 10% drawback down to 7%, because it reduces it by 10% per level, which is 1. So at level 5 it goes down to 5% drawback. We take it to level 3. Both of these rigs will only be requiring an extra 7%. And I think that's going to be just enough to make this thing fit. So, of course, we could find something else that's compact, or even a meter level 150mm railgun. If we start killing destroyers, maybe we'll get that. So I think that is how this fit is going to be from now on. Because the drone's running around at 55, we'll be able to kite around at 55, no trouble at all. And our weapon hits all the way out to 37. So for that reason, I've added hybrid weapon rigging and the small hybrid locus coordinator blueprint to the shopping list. And the good thing is that usually weapon rigs require the smash trigger unit, but these ones do not. They require contaminated Lorentz fluid, charred microcircuit and fried interface circuits, all of which I'm pretty sure we have. We search for Loren. We have 47 units of contaminated Lorentz fluid. We have 35 charred microcircuit. And we have 18 units of fried interface circuit. So we have all the materials. All we need is the skills. We're doing jury rigging to 3 anyway to get the drone rig. So we might as well do the hybrid rig as well. We'll build one of that hybrid weapon rig, fit it, and then work out how much power grid we've got to spare. Because I don't want to build 2 rigs and fit them and then find out that the skills were not quite good enough to allow us to fit 2 of them. But if we can get one of them, that's good enough, and then we'll find something else to do with the other slot. Because as we see, if we do a compact armour repairer and a compact afterburner, then the power grid is fine. So what if we then did something like a cap control circuit or something? Would that then let us take off the cap recharger? Yes, it would. And then we could put on a second tracking computer with optimal range, which has exactly the same effect. But the fit is no longer stable like that, so it's not great. How about a semiconductor memory cell? 420, slightly better with that. So there are options. Of course, in our gunnery skills, we also have sharpshooter, which increases optimal range, and trajectory analysis, which increases fall-off, so we can increase our range that way. So I think that's what we're going to do. What we're going to do right now is undock and head over to Barkirk and see what's there. Well, okay, this is very cool and very weird. We have in this asteroid belt a named battleship called Kian Magdesh. Again, this is part of the Cosmos chain. He just kind of hangs out here. You're supposed to kill him and take his DNA back to one of the agents. If we have a look at him and his weapons on the end of his little wings, he is railgun fit. Now, because he's in a Scorpion, that made me think he could have been missile, but he is railgun fitted, and that means if we can get up close, he won't be able to hit us. He is worth 125,000 ISK. The other problem we have is that we only do a few DPS, so I'm not sure we've actually got the damage to be able to kill him. If we were in a destroyer, I might very well have a pop at that guy. As it is, we're leaving.
Warp drive active.
Very interesting. Cosmos constellations are weird. One other thing I forgot to mention about that battleship is that apparently he respawns like every 15 minutes. That's like 125,000 plus his attendants that respawn every 15 minutes. So, yeah, that's another possibility for the future. Right, that's Barkirk done. Must remember there's a battleship in Barkrick. That's easy to remember. Alliteration is always cool. Let's get into Langisi. See if there's any more strangeness in here. Okay, what we have here is an acceleration gate which leads into one of the cosmos complexes. We will not be going in there. It's probably going to be really, really hard because most of the cosmos complexes are aimed at like level 3, and that means like cruisers or battle cruisers. So we even last about 3 seconds in there. So let's not go in there. And these 3 enemies are all firing light missiles at us, and they were taking big chunks of our health off. But this guy's dropped about 17 different things of loot, so we'll have that. So far, so good. What we have in this asteroid field are indeed some of the agents. I told you they were in space. They just like hang out in space, and you can talk to them and get the cosmos missions. But we ain't doing none of that. Okay, that is the end of Ender. This is one of the ones with many asteroid belts. We are absolutely full of loot, so we're going to go home. We're going to have to go home and offload, so I'll see you when we get there. I think it's safe to say that Minmatar Space has been very kind to us. We've made at least 694,000. There's probably more bounty to come in about 20 minutes time on top of that. We have all this loot, some of which we'll keep, most of which will melt down. Outstanding. Right, we went home, we dropped off all the loot, we had enough money, and we have bought the rig and the skill we need for the rig. So let's inject the skill, take the rig blueprint back home. Now there's not much point in doing material research on this. If we take it up to 10%, we're saving 10% of 2, which is not anything, and 10% of 3 and 10% of 3. If we were to make, say, 10 runs of this and make 10 of these, then that would save 1. Because the scaling up works when you're making multiple runs, but we're only going to make 1 of these, so there's no point doing material research. Time research, it only takes 25 minutes to make one of these things, so I'm not sure we're going to research that at all. Right, that is the skill sheet sorted out. There is drones rigging 1 right up there. We don't need to take this any more than that, because if we look at the blueprint and then the rig and the description, it says, this ship modification is designed to increase the ship's drone control range at the expense of the ship's CPU. And CPU on the fit we want to make is not a problem, so I don't really care about reducing the drawback. So what we now need to do is to make enough money. We have 227,000, that's not too bad. We need to make enough money to buy hybrid weapon rigging skill and the small hybrid locus coordinator 1 blueprint. That's what, 375,000. I'm going to go back to Annie because Annie is okay. Annie's been really good. And on the way to Annie, I am going to hit every single belt in every single one of these systems. We might not make it to Annie before we fill up on loot again, but that's what I'm going to do. So let's do it. So yeah, that happened. I warped to an asteroid belt and there was a Guristas fleet already spawned there. They killed my ship and then they destroyed our escape pod as well. Like instantly dead. So that's the end of our new ship. It is gone, it's been destroyed. We only have 1 build queue and that's occupied, so I'm not going to be able to build that new ship for a little while. So that's quite annoying. So let's just go home and try and regain our composure. Blimey. And because the Guristas fleet is there, there is zero chance of us getting our stuff back. Yeah, there were about 20 ships there, and they just like one-shotted us instantly, boom. Luckily we didn't have any good loot on us. Yeah, our compact mag stab did drop, but I'm not going back for it because the fleet kills the pods as well, so if any ship we go back in there, it'll just get killed instantly as well. So yeah, that's great. That again is because the developers cannot be bothered to put a warning about pirate strongholds as a pop-up on your screen when you jump into the system. So you're just warping in blind all the time, so that's great. You live and learn. Luckily we've probably got more than enough minerals to build a new ship. That's quite annoying. How much is mass production? 200,000. You know what, we might as well buy that. Might as well. Why not? Now we can build a new ship, and we can delete that from the shopping list. And you know what, we might as well do acceleration control as well. Give ourselves faster afterburner, because why not? Yeah, it's in the same station, so we'll buy that as well. Something else off the shopping list. There you go, a little bit of retail therapy there. Just a little bit. So that was a rude awakening. So our little ship had done amazing things today. It was absolutely crushing it. And then we warped into the wrong asteroid belt and met a huge fleet and got one-shotted. Unbelievable. Thank you, developers. Thank you for pirate strongholds. They are fun and engaging gameplay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is sarcasm. Right, let's go. We're going to have to bring all the blueprints here because we need to make lots of things. Okay, so the things we're going to have to build are, obviously, the Mollusk itself, 125mm railguns, cap rechargers, and the cap power relay, because I believe we have an afterburner down here. Yep, we've got the afterburner. We have, I believe, yeah, we've got armor repairers, that's good. We've got spare drones, that's good. Bit of a pain to lose the mag stab, but then we only threw it on the fit because it was here. It just puts even more of a fire under us to get 500k to get a drone damage blueprint, so we can then at least build that. Mag stab blueprint is only 250, but drones are most of our damage, so we want to be amping them up as well. Well, another day, another loss in EVE Online, and this time it is a total loss. Last time we managed to go back and get all this stuff. This time, ain't happening. So all that stuff is gone. Do we have a web? Yes we do, and it's enduring as well. Good, so that's not too bad. I mean, this is why we hoard all this stuff, so we can replace our losses. And we are indeed going to have to replace our loss. But the good thing, of course, is that we have blueprints, so outstanding. How many... okay, apparently we have enough minerals to make 15 more mollusks. Yay! Well, that's good. So we can get blown up another 15 times before I run out of minerals. Outstanding. Right, well, today started off really well. We were in a mollusk. We were earning money hand over fist. We were making plans to change the fit to try and balance out the drone control range and the railgun range, so at least the whole ship can operate at somewhere around 35 kilometers. Just orbit things or keep them at range, and hope that's enough to keep us out of danger from destroyers at least, so we can then do things like refuges. So I am going to rebuild all that stuff. I have thrown mass production straight onto the build queue. As soon as that is done, we'll be able to build multiple jobs instead of just having to wait for this one available job slot to open. We'll have 3 or 4 of them, and I'll rebuild everything. And we'll try it again next time. I hope to see you again for that, and I hope you look after yourself until then. I'll see you later.